It's like, do you consider listening to audiobooks reading? And a lot of people wouldn't. So it's like,
ooh, that's even more contentious. That's a way to get people mad at you.
hello, welcome to the Fangirl Feels podcast. This is actually Fangirl Fridays. So we are posting this on a Friday. Welcome. We typically do our deep dives, our full episodes, and we'll post those on Monday. And then those are typically longer. And then we'll post these on Friday. They're shorter. And it's just like more fun content about things that we've been consuming over the past week. And then also feedback from you all called Fandom Feedback. So my name is Tanya.
My name is Olivia.
And we're Fangirl Feels, and this is Fangirl Fridays.
And this is Fangirl Fridays. This is what it is.
How many alliteration terms can we put together?
Are the experts of alliteration. That's what this is.
We literally have a whole list. So and I still have it, Olivia. I kept it in our Notion. Notion is where we keep track of everything. Maybe sponsor us.
I would love to be sponsored by Notion. No joke.
Olivia makes her own templates.
I do. Yes. Notion, please sponsor. We're going to tag Notion in this. Tag, please.
All right. So yes. So today we'll go over what we've been consuming. And we do want to mention, if you saw our episode, maybe if you haven't, go check it out, about the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Because our podcast is about reviewing content, giving an emotional analysis of content, we have a moral obligation to avoid struck content from studios. So if those unions are striking those companies, we're going to avoid that work. So we are just going to do unstruck work and content from here on out until their negotiations are finalized. So yes,
indeed. And that's okay. We like books anyway. So we'll talk about books and such.
Yes.
Our episode that we posted on Monday of this week, as you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on Friday, is pretty funny. So you should listen to it. Sarah J. Maas, Guess Who? It's pretty chaotic. We learned how to do Guess Who virtually. That was, something I learned how to do.
We figured that out pretty quickly. Mostly you figured it out, and you just.
It's not that complicated.
Yes.
It's not that complicated.
Olivia went and learned how to code, and then made a whole extension.
Yes. So. The whole extent. You can buy it now. No, you can't. It was a Canva template. It wasn't that hard, but it was fun. So you should listen to it.
Yes, that was a fun episode. So check it out. But yes, let's start with fandom feedback. Do we have anything that anyone's left us?
We do have some. We have some poll results. So, how many books have you read this year? Most people have read 11 to 20 books so far this year, which is, I think our demographic, you guys are readers. That makes sense. Damn, that's a lot. That's a pretty good amount. 11 to 20, and one person read 21 over. 21.
I saw that. Who are you? I bet you it's Lauren. Lauren, did we guess it right? Lauren,
maybe. Yeah, good for her.
And then I knew that wasn't you.
Yes. That makes sense. I read 7 books. Well,
still good. Give it up, everyone.
Yeah, I finished Fourth Wing, which I will get to. But I have a question. Do you consider graphic novels a book?
Wow, what a contentious question. And this will be a question, because I don't know. When I used to tell people I read, that's how I got back into reading physical books again, was graphic novels, because it's fun.
Yeah.
And there's no shame, but it's true. It's do you consider listening to audiobooks reading? And a lot of people wouldn't. So it's
ooh, that's even more contentious. That's a way to get people mad at you, is to ask that. I think it's reading. I consider audiobooks reading, but
I do too, only because that's how I mostly consume content. But you ask my brother, who's our biggest hater, he'll say no.
Really? Oh, I'm ready to fight. This is a call to fight him right now.
We're gonna fight the whiskey man.
We're gonna fight the whiskey man. Back off, whiskey man.
For context, my brother has a whiskey related account. We will tag him at some point.
Yes.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know when we want you guys to attack him. There we go.
Yeah, please. Yes, we'll call the army. I've actually have yet to meet your brother, but I feel like we're in a rivalry. I've never met your brother, but we're in some we're in a virtual rivalry.
You know what? I've never met Karen.
Yeah. It's true. It's funny, but we know about these people in each other's lives, but we've never met them, But your brother and I,
I've never met Olivia, sorry.
We actually don't know each other. I've never met you before in my entire life. But it makes sense. Why would you have met my sister? And when would I have met your brother? I don't know. But Like when we'd hang out, we would just be the two of us, or like our friend group.
Fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's never been to like my birthday parties or anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But we're like we like interact on the Instagrams or stuff, right?
Yes.
We circle each other, even though we've never met. Circling.
Funny how that works. And Olivia and I have been friends since like 2015, 2016. So
Yeah,
that's just funny. So
it is funny. It's funny. So we'll tell you guys when to fight him.
yes.
Be prepared. This man I've never met, but I have a rivalry with. An online rivalry. Pack up whiskey man.
But yeah, so he would say that audiobook listening is not reading because the comprehension levels are different. So
Really? I've seen, so in a previous episode, I said that I do feel like I don't take in as much detail when I listen to the audiobook. So I'm going to say this knowing that I'm being hypocritical, but I disagree. I'm going to disagree. I disagree with your brother, even though I have said verbally that I do feel like I comprehend less when I read or when I physically or when I listen to the audiobook. But I've seen studies that say that that's not the case for everybody. Like that, it's the same, like to your adult brain. So I don't know.
yeah. Okay. Interesting.
That
Well,
like your brain doesn't understand the difference between listening to a story versus reading a story after a certain reading level. Like, and assuming we're adults, which we are, at least I think I am. That's supposedly that's what they say.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it up to our listeners. So,
Yeah.
dear listeners, that'll be our poll. Do you consider it's two
Audiobook
things though?
reading.
It's like audiobook, or I guess maybe the question would be like, which do you consider reading? And it's multiple choice, like audiobook reading. And then what was the other one we said?
Graphic
novels. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So I asked this question because one of the books I read this week, not to get straight into Fangirl Finds, was a graphic novel, and I put it into my Goodreads, and it counted as a book. And I was like, so now I'm technically at like 8 books. I'm like, well, am I at 8 books? Is this cheating? I'm having like an existential crisis about it.
It took me figure that out.
Yeah. I'm going to leave. Goodreads thinks it's a book. So we're going to just leave it and I'm going to listen to Goodreads. But there's a part of me that's like, this took me literally an hour to read. So I don't know.
This is like, is water wet?
Yes.
And this is the same because like a writer still makes a graphic novel. They might hire on
arguably more work.
Yeah.
Because of the artist. Yeah.
So I think it's real, guys. I think so. I'm gonna say yes because that's still a book. But like I do agree that like if you're comparing, like I read 50 books this year, it's like okay, well, what? How long? And I guess like does that matter to anyone? I don't know. Like, is it a race? I don't know. It's not.
It's not. So. It's true. At the end of the day, that's the moral of the story, right? It's like we're not trying to. It's not no one's fighting or compare. We shouldn't be comparing to each other. But I will say, I have seen because I have a lot of friends on Goodreads because like some of my followers on my art account, like they'll add me as a friend, and I'm cool with adding anyone as a friend on Goodreads because why not? So I will see their reading challenges, and there are some people who do like it'll be like they read 60 books this year, and I'll look at it, and it's like 40 of them are graphic novels. No shade, but I can't help but sometimes be like, did you read 40 books? I don't know. Yeah, you can't help that little like inkling that comes in and you're like, okay, I read 9, but they're actually books. Ooh, this is contentious. I don't know.
Books. Ooh,
but they're actually books. I don't mean any shade. It only bothered me slightly, That's why I ask.
We're just walking through the scenarios. Yeah. I feel like we're not passionate about either direction. So yeah,
no.
I would agree with you that I do think it's reading because like at the end of the day, it's like, what metric are you measuring? Are you having fun doing it? Did you have fun? Are you like, you know what I mean? Like, did it evoke emotion in you? And do you have opinions after reading it? Then sure. Why not? I feel like that's the purpose of reading.
Agreed. Yeah. And like, sure, I shouldn't compare, and that still took time and effort to read it, even if it's not as like lengthy or as like difficult to read as a novel. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely is. It is about like comparison. You feel bad when you see someone. It's like they've read 40 books and you've read 4, but then like those 40 books are graphic novels. It's just like it's not a race. It's okay. They're allowed.
Yeah.
And some graphic novels are actually thick. So in their defense too, some can be bulky.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And I will say, like, do you remember when we would do I just assume we had the same
It's fun.
upbringing
I mean, it's possible.
when we were 5 and we'd go to the library and get those like almost treasure hunt like book reading challenges. I think I'm pretty sure the libraries I went to up in Northeast Ohio had like specific rules about like what books counted as books to get to like the free McDonald's fries, you know, or like whatever at the end
Ooh,
of it. Like we had like really cool prizes. Whereas like you would like
nice.
then show the tokens to like the place you're going to get something. So there were rules. So like I feel like if there's strict rules in that case, like I know like the reading challenges that you have on like Goodreads, I don't know if they have like rules, but maybe they don't because they consider graphic novels
They do.
books. So or
Yeah.
reading. So
Yeah, they do. They do consider it. I do remember that. We didn't do ours would be like Pizza Hut. We would get like a Pizza Hut free pizza if we reached like a certain amount of books. I remember that actually. Good times.
good to bring it back.
Yeah, do kids not do that? Are we just discovering all the things that kids just don't get to do these days?
I think so. What did we talk about? We talked about the midnight releases at like Borders and Barnes and Nobles. That was fun. So maybe, you know, as an adult, I'd be willing to pay for these things. Like say like I read 5 books and I get a free beer at the local brewery. Done. I would do it.
Whoa.
I would do it tomorrow. I would go through 5 books, you know?
Is this like a business idea? We need to cut this out. No one take our idea.
No one took our idea because wouldn't it be fun if like the bookstore was next to a bar, which exists, like that happens. Like,
Whoa.
yeah.
That's actually a fantastic idea. I wonder if there's a way we could do this. I don't know how.
We're so smart.
We just like came up with a whole new business. Okay, guys, bye. We're gonna go work.
Hi. So like, and also this is an investor call, so you guys will invest.
You
in
guys
the
are
idea.
listening?
This is we're gonna crowdfund it. We have a Kickstarter.
Actually, maybe. Guys, tell us if you this is like we're gonna have like 80 polls underneath this
Yes.
episode. Like, hey.
Well, you know, listen. Okay, I'm gonna knock on wood because I'm not trying to like say that we're gonna get this big. It would be cool if we were, but that's not. I don't even know if that's an intention of ours. But like, you know how the like podcasts do tours. If we like end up getting big enough where people want to hear from us like live, it'd be cool if we were like at a bookstore or like that was next to a bar and we do this ourselves. So like, did you all read the thing? You all get a free beer on us.
That would be amazing. Dude, that's like the type of life I want to live, right?
Yes.
Like, just encourage people to read. That's my legacy. Just reading is good for the soul.
Yes.
So
and
good.
the discussions you have after, it's just so like calming and life reassuring and great.
Reading is great. Ugh. Why get having fun isn't hard. You got a library card. All right, Arthur.
Again, kids
The dream.
these days did not have Arthur.
No, they didn't. Oh gosh, man, kids are really deprived.
Yeah.
That sucks. Sad for them. R.I.P.
Rip.
Not rip the kid. The kids are alive, but the kids are mine.
We just took a turn, you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
right,
All right.
the kids. No, the kids are okay. No, maybe not emotionally, but they're okay.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah. Kids are not okay.
The kids are
not all right.
The kids are not all right. This is true. It's fair.
Speaking of the graphic novel that you read, Olivia, we're going to move on to Fangirl Finds. What was it? And what else did you consume in this past week?
Yes, I'm happy. Okay, so the graphic novel that I read was actually, I've said this many times, my childhood, like my favorite show as a kid that actually got me to start drawing was a show called Danny Phantom. It was on Nickelodeon, and I loved it. I was like 11 years old when it came out, and there was a graphic novel that came out for it, and I was like, listen, I owe it to my like 11-year-old self to read it. So I read the graphic novel, and it was actually really good. If you were a fan of that series when you were a kid also, like I was, worth reading. It was like, and I like follow the artist that wrote it. She's like an author and artist, so she like wrote the story and illustrated it, and I've been like following her on Instagram for several years now. And the art is beautiful, the story was good, so I was so happy to like get it. I was like, wow, my childhood is healed. I loved this like little graphic novel. It was great. So 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars.
5 stars? That's such a good... Yeah, I guess we'll check it out, you guys.
Yeah, if you were a fan of that series as a kid too, it's worth checking out. But I like literally finished it in like a day. It was bigger than I thought it would be because I was like, I was like, this is like a cartoon graphic novel. How big could it be? It was actually pretty big, but it took me like maybe an hour and a half to read it. And I was like, and then I was able to like put it on my Goodreads, and then it added a book. So that's where this whole existential crisis came from. I was like, is this a book? I don't know. I don't know.
Is this
It is a book.
Yeah, I
It's a
think it
book.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's cool.
awesome. I was never into Danny Phantom, but honestly, the stuff you post makes me want to be into it. It's very like what's it called with Timmy Turner, Fairly Odd Parents, like
It was
that's
the
the
same
type of.
creator.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was the same creator. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think I'd like it because I love that show. So
Yeah. It was cute. Like it was just like a cute like cartoon show as a kid, but I liked it. I thought it had potential. Like this is what got me into the internet. That show is actually like when I've discovered, I think I've talked about this in like our fan fiction episode. It was through that show that I discovered like different facets of the internet. And people are just creative. People have like taken it and like ran with it. So there's just a lot of potential, I think, with that series. But yeah, I just liked it a lot as a kid. So the graphic novel, I think, was just a fun. Like there hasn't been content for that since like 20 years. Like the show ended 20 years ago, right? So you're like, I have to heal my childhood by reading this. So I did. And it was good. Yeah.
that's so fun. Do you have the names of the creators of the graphic novel so that we can give them a shout out?
Yes, their name is, and they have beautiful art of the whole series. Gabriela Rodriguez Epstein. So she's a New York Times, she goes by she, they, so both pronouns work. New York Times bestselling graphic novelist, and she wrote this series. This graphic novel. It's called A Glitch in Time, and her art is beautiful. Like I love her art, just very like dynamic. So they designed the entire graphic novel. I'm like, that's so much work. I don't know how you write and illustrate a graphic novel. Like dream the goals, but I don't know how you do it. And they've
Yeah,
done
is
like
that something? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, what are you gonna say? No, you can say.
I was gonna ask if that's something you want to do.
I would, and there's a world in which that would be something I want to do, but I just don't think I have the patience or the I don't think my style works in a graphic novel form either, because I think you have to be very simple. Not to say like simple doesn't mean bad, but you have to simplify the characters because you have to draw them 80, 100 times. And I wouldn't describe my style as simple. So I think it would just be really hard to translate into a graphic novel. So yes, but unlikely was the answer to that. I was going to say that I think they've also done Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels, which reading this graphic novel made me realize that there are so many Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels that I've just never thought about. I'm like, maybe I'll read those. That seems cool.
Yeah, some of them are online. Like I've read a little bit of maybe like the very first one. So, but yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I really want to there's a Avatar Kyoshi graphic novel that I really want to buy.
Yeah, I've seen those. There's like a new one about like Avatar Yang Chen. I was like, there's so many. They've really gone off on this series with graphic novels, and I just didn't pay attention. So maybe this opened a door for me with graphic novels. We'll see.
What if that's what we start doing? I love it. Love it.
I'm a fan.
Am
So
a fan.
that's what I've read this week, and then I also finished Fourth Wing. Which did I mention that I finished Fourth Wing last week or no? I don't
Yes,
remember.
yeah. You finished it.
Okay, yeah. So that's all I've really read. I haven't done it. I haven't watched anything. I'm trying to think. Did I watch anything? That's it for me.
And it's tough too because it's like I don't even know if we can mention because it's like we're allowed to go watch and consume the thing, but we can't mention it
Yeah, I
because that
don't
would be
necessarily want
like
to talk
promote
about it.
because that would be like now you go watch, promoting. So all
Yeah.
right. Well, I guess we'll just stick to like books and stuff because like I did watch some horror films, but I'm not sure if any of the writers on there are on strike, right? It's hard to say. It's hard to know specifically based off the writers themselves. So I'll just say like the books and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still on The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I'm not done with that yet. I have 7 hours left listening to it. I've just been busy. And so I'd like to talk about what I've been busy with. So I've been wanting to pursue stand-up comedy for a while. I first got the idea like in 2019. I used to do like business pitch competitions, like for example, Startup Weekend. And where I live, we have something called Give Back Hack. And I actually launched a business based off those pitch competitions. And so like that involved like if anyone hasn't heard of those, you like on a Friday you go and you pitch your business idea that like you can work on it a little. You have had work done with it a little bit. It shouldn't be like a fully fleshed out idea because like you will spend the weekend then like people will vote to like if they want your idea to move on, and then people will join your team. And over the course of Saturday and Sunday, you work to validate that concept with your team that of people you just met. And then on Sunday, you kind of pitch like Shark Tank style. Anyways, a lot of that involved me like using a mic and talking to people. And like that was the first time I was like, wait, this could be something, which was nuts as like someone I grew up very shy and very introverted and like very afraid of doing something that vulnerable, you know, speaking in front of people. Fast forward to now, like I'm pretty decent at public speaking. Like the fear of that has gone away. But when I thought about like actually pursuing stand-up comedy, like actually doing it for real, I started getting anxious. And I did it last week and I still have anxiety. Like every time I think about it, I have anxiety. Like I did it. I went to our local, there's like a local place near me where people can go. They have an open mic every week. And before the open mic, the hour before is like a workshop. And so like, it's really like laid back. You don't have to like go to the workshop. You don't have to, present your jokes at the workshop. You could just intend to observe. And so I've been going for a couple weeks to just observe. And then last week I actually went up and did it. And like, it was so nerve wracking and scary. And I'm literally like anxious talking about it. I'm speeding through my words right now.
You did great. You sent me that video. You did great. I mean, I'm impressed you even tried. Like that would terrify the crap out of me, but you did it. And like, I understand the fear. Sometimes it is the worst when you remember what you did, you know, like you're embarrassed of your past self. You know, I understand that feeling. You shouldn't be embarrassed, but I understand that feeling of like anxiety after it happened. Cause you're like, oh my gosh, did it go well? Did I make a fool out of myself? Like, I understand that feeling, but no, it was great. Like what I saw was great. And that was the whole set, right? Was that whole like 5 minutes?
Yeah. So it was just 5 minutes. And yeah, like I mentioned, one of my bits was like, I didn't know what type 5 meant. I thought type 5 meant you tell 5 jokes, but type 5 means you have 5 minutes. So you could like, you could tell 5 jokes, you could tell more or less. So
yeah, you could just like spit off jokes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep running them.
Which people did. Like, and that's like their type of humor. But yeah, like I had been like, probably for the past maybe 2 years, like writing jokes in my notes app. Like I actually like thinking about writing them. And then like over the past couple months, like me and a friend went to like comedy shows to like be like, okay, Tanya, you just need to observe and see what they do. And then like slowly and surely, like it's like, okay, Tanya, it's time.
Like, you got to do something with these.
Yeah, like you've been putting in the work to do it, like do it. And so then just last week, I don't know what compelled me. I think it's just because I kept telling people. I just kept telling people, and I'm like, I need to do it. Like I've already told enough people that I want to do this. So yeah, I finally did it, and I want to keep doing it. I think it's fun, and I don't know what it'll lead to, but like I post my content on social media, and I know that's weird. It was my first set, but I'm doing it so that I can watch my progress, like back, right? Like I want to keep improving, so I'll keep posting videos, and it might be the same joke again, but just like you make little iterations. So like Olivia and I like are from the design world, where you do something, you learn from it, and iterate and do it again. And so that's what these are for. That's what open mics are for. When you hear about comedians like doing like multiple sets a week, like multiple open mics a week, it's because they're practicing, right? They're just like, it's a repetition. A lot of it is acting. A lot of it is you're literally memorizing lines and then performing it, right? Like when I say something at a certain time, that's acting. And which I am not a theater kid. And so like that's another reason I get like anxiety about it, because it's different than public speaking, because you're performing. You're like, the audience plays a part in your performance. Like you're waiting for them to respond. And so, and some of my jokes didn't land, and that's okay. Like when I was practicing, because, you know, that's just learning. I'm just learning what works.
Yeah. And sometimes you like don't expect it. If like the joke may sound funny to you, but then in the moment, it just like didn't come out right. Or it just, what you just didn't realize it wouldn't be received or something. Like, that's okay. Yeah. That's the point. It is like a mixture, like what you said. It's a mixture of acting and public speaking and improv. It's like all three together, and none of those are my skill set. So I'm very impressed, and you did great, and I'm proud of you for doing it. And yeah, I was gonna ask if you want to like do it again. Like, you should, but I hope you continue.
Thank you. I already have 2 shows lined up. So
whoa,
yeah, shows / it's an open mic. I'm not getting paid
out.
I'm booked. One, and they're like, you got this,
Marvelous
girl.
Mrs. Maisel over here.
No.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah, her first night she got like a booker. No. I have to keep practicing. So like I have an open mic, and then like I met at this the open mic workshops that I go to. Like it's funny. Like women supporting women or non-binary folks supporting like women. Like I met other people who were there that like we all like cuddled together because we're like, oh my god, it's a room full of men. So we gotta like join forces. So one of them is like producing a show and they asked me to be a part of it. So that's like what I'm doing also. So it's just like it's networking, Olivia.
Producing a casually gonna be on television. Is it like TV? Like
Oh,
what is
no,
the
sorry,
show?
not television. Oh my god. Jeez, I would say no, I think. Like I'm not
Really? I was
ready,
like,
but
this
TV.
girl is about to leave me to go move to Hollywood.
Yeah,
Like
so
it's her way of telling me that.
yeah.
Funny.
I'm on like Jimmy Kimmel. No, please. No, God. I'm like even
Truly.
I'm not gonna I'm like nervous talking about this, but no, like just producing a show as in like, hey, do you want to be a part of asking people, comedians, if they want to like do like an hour long or sorry, be a part of a show that's like an hour and then you'll just have your time slot. So that's what that is.
I see. Okay. Still very cool. Super, super cool. Yeah, good for you. You're making connections. And like, yeah, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get. That's the whole point. So
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're all about progress and achieving your goals on this podcast, you know? It's the point. You don't have to be the best for it to be worth doing, right? You're only going to get good if you practice. So there you go. A+.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. We do that. And we promote each other. Like Olivia and I are like doing non-conventional things together. And it helps to have friends like to just support you. Like, because we all know what it feels like to like suck at something at first. Like, right? Like it took you years to like be good at art. Like I think you were good at the beginning too, but like it took you years to like figure out like your style.
Confirm I was not. Terrible.
Tanya, you were lying. Yeah.
Tanya, you're lying to me. Yeah, no. But yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, honestly, it took me years, like all those years of having anxiety and like getting to this point. Like I couldn't have done it 3 years ago. I think I wasn't ready. Like it literally just takes time to get through this period of anxiety and sucking until you're good at it. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you have to be okay with not being good. You just have to be okay with it for a while, right? Not that you weren't good. You were good. I'm just saying, like, in general, when you're trying something new, you just have to be okay with like not being the best, right? Like it's okay. You're allowed. You're practicing, you're learning. And sometimes I think that's harder as an adult. As a kid, you're like not that concerned with not being good. But once you reach like, especially now that we're in our 30s, I think it's like so much harder to be okay with not being good because we're like, I'm 30, you know, I'm 30. I need to be good at everything I do. I need to have it all figured out. Like, that's not true.
Yes, back to our episode where we talked about like turning 30. Yes, and that's what is like the media shows you like you'll have your life together by now and it's like but you can still pursue other hobbies and be bad at it and it's okay. Like you don't have to have it together. So,
no. So like so much time left. Like yeah, I've been doing ice skating and I suck at ice skating. But it's fun.
And you're meeting friends that way and like that's all that matters. If you start hating it, examine why you hate it, make a change, and if you really hate it, quit it. You know, you don't need to you can DNF a hobby.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like, but if it's something you want to do, it's okay to be bad and practice. That's good.
So yeah, I will keep you updated. When I do things next, I'm gonna try and go to open mics like at least if not once a week, every 2 weeks. It's just they're at night too. Like they're in the evening. Like I'm tired. I'm so
night.
Too late. Yeah.
Too late.
And it just sucks because for a lot of these, you have to show up earlier to get on the set list. And then you're just kind of waiting around for the time to happen where you go on. And like if you're newer to this also, sometimes you'll end up at the bottom of it. So you're there till like 2 a.m. And as a woman, like walking outside, leaving these bars, it's typically bars, like I don't feel safe. Like I now carry pepper spray with me because like my boyfriend's not always gonna come with me. It's too late. Like, and I don't expect him to, but it's just like, there's a lot of work involved with this. That's not just like writing jokes and telling jokes. There's more involved with it. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a lot. Can be scary. Why is everything at night? Like, can something be like a nice 2 o'clock? Like nice 2 p.m.
Go to a 2 o'clock comedy show? How do we do this?
I would. I mean, maybe. Why not? I see no issues. Yeah, that is like anxiety inducing. But yeah, carry that pepper spray.
Yes,
definitely. You got this, though. I believe in you.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
A+.
And with this, I revived my Totally Tanya account. I started posting it. So, and I will start posting my recordings of. I'm going to start doing like deep dives. So this isn't totally Fangirl finds, but I'm just incorporating all of it. I feel like it is. Yeah,
No.
I found a new hobby and a new love for life. Like it is like I
Yeah,
feel like
that's a big
it's,
deal.
yeah, I feel like it's hard, but it is like, hard things are good for you, and other parts of your life start like forming too because you're like motivated to do something. Like you got to drive back for certain things. I don't know. I'm just saying words now, but yeah, you
No,
get it.
I get it. Yeah, no, I agree. That's a huge deal. Like to be excited about something and want to pursue it. It's healthy and that's good. And that's all we're meant to do in this world, right? Is just to try and better ourselves and grow and pursue these things. Like that's great. That's
With
awesome.
these mortal lives,
Yes.
that we have, like
Yeah.
that is
We
all
only
that we're meant to do.
I mean, yeah, to some extent. It's like we only get like 80 years, right? If we're lucky. Like what else is the point except to just try everything and like
Yeah.
better ourselves, what we're here for, I guess. But got deep. But
I know.
it is got really deep.
I will just keep you updated.
Yes.
With everything, my progress.
We'll ask every Fangirl Fridays how it's going.
Tell me a new joke, Tanya.
Tell me a joke right now, or I'm hanging up. I'm leaving. You have to give it to me right now. Well, thank you guys for listening for this to this episode of Fangirl Fridays. Hope you enjoyed it. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're just across the internet. You can like and follow us there on all those platforms. We post every Monday and every Friday. This was our Fangirl Fridays episode, which are a little bit more laid back. Our Fangirl Mondays, that's not a thing. Our Fangirl Feels episodes come out on Mondays. And those are our deep dives where we tend to go a little bit deeper into something. Or we just do something fun like we did last week or this past week, this Monday, when you're listening to this episode. The episode before it was more fun. So please listen to that. Check us out. Follow us on Spotify. I hope I said that. There's some commentary in the bottom. So if you're on Spotify, interact with our poll. Leave us a voice note because we're still waiting for that. One day that's going to happen. And we're literally going to have a party for that person. If someone leaves us a voice note, we're going to invite them on the podcast. Just stay it now.
You get to be on it. Yeah.
You get to be on the podcast. If you add our voice, if you're add a voice note, send us a voice note. So yeah, we'll be back next week in your feed. But until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.